So Gary came in and gave me a lecture via Tom that I should say, next we have a man who had a pleasant experience with his wife's trach hole. Gee, the show, you know, that really helps.
When are you getting this satellite thing hooked up?
Couldn't be a day too soon. How absurd. I don't know if you should say made love to. You should say had a pleasant experience with a trach hole.
Actually, Howard, you wanted to say had a relationship.
Oh, had a relationship with his wife's trach hole. All right, well, I'll work with that.
He took it to the movies.
Robin, we're going to speak to Rob, who had a relationship with his wife's trach hole.
Well, he did something very interesting with his wife's trach hole, and we're going to find out what it is.
Yeah, he had a relationship with it. I want to thank Tom for helping me with the show. Just give me air conditioning. Don't worry about what I say.
Yeah, maybe he'd lighten up if he was cool.
Oh, my God, Robin, I'm dizzy.
I know. I just saw you had the lights turned down during the commercials.
I went out in the hall to get air. What if I get an oxygen tent and I can freeze it?
Well, you'd probably catch on fire in there.
Imagine I just spontaneously combust. Oh, man. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Howard?
You'll mind, I hope you won't mind that I say you had a relationship with your wife's trach hole.
Yeah, you can say that.
I'd like to have a relationship with Tom Skull.
Let me ask a question. Was
Yeah.
his wife still alive?
Your wife is dead, right?
Yeah, she passed away last 4th of July.
Yeah, and what was wrong with your wife that she had to have a trach hole?
Well, I get, they are saying it's a trach hole. It's actually not a trach hole. It's called a stoma. It's like a permanent hole after an operation.
A stoma?
Yeah.
In her neck?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this, and probably this is the question on everyone's mind. What the F is wrong with you? Honest to God.
Now, did she breathe out of the stoma?
Yes, she did.
Oh, my goodness.
So let me understand, Robin, because I'm not in the medical profession. If I was to have, let's say, your wife had what, lung cancer or something?
No, it was, she had a laryngectomy. It was like esophageal cancer, part of her voice box, part of her larynx.
Right. And so they removed things, and then in order to breathe, they cut a hole in your wife's neck.
That's correct.
All right. Now, at what point... At what point did you say to yourself, gee, I'd like to have a relationship with my wife's trach hole?
Actually, it was the opposite. I was very conservative that way. I really wasn't into it. It was really her idea.
It was her idea?
Yeah, she had always been like very, very sexually adventurous.
I see. Now, I notice your phone connection's a little weak. Is that because you're on a cell phone?
No. It's just a crappy phone.
Is there a good phone in your house so I may continue this conversation uninterrupted by static?
This is it. This is as good as it gets.
I see. I think I'd have an easier time communicating with your wife at this point. So, you say that you obviously were very much in love with your wife.
Correct.
All right. You miss her?
Very much.
All right. And at some point after her operation, she came to you and said, I want to have a relationship with the trach hole and you.
Well, it was about 6 months after the initial operation. Are you familiar with West Hollywood at all?
Did you paste hair around the trach?
No.
All right, I'm asking. I think we might as well be honest here. This is what it's all about.
No, she had gotten the idea. She had heard of a gay couple in West Hollywood. And one of the partners had that operation where they put the colostomy bag in.
Yes.
And they pleasured each other with the incision.
So ER must be like porno to you. All right. So when your wife requested this of you, you say you weren't into it at first, but you said, okay. Rob, would you consider this fellatio?
No.
You would not?
No.
What would you consider?
I would consider this sick.
You think this is sick? Why not just cut holes indiscriminately around the body
and puncture them?
Why not just puncture your wife?
Well, the surgery pretty much did that.
Now, were you able to make conventional love or not?
Oh, yes. It was just, like I said, she was very, very adventurous that way.
And it was just part of your lovemaking.
Yeah, it was just another dimension she wanted to add to it.
I see. And so the first time you did this, I imagine she was laying down on her back. Or was she sitting up?
No, actually, I was laying on my back, and she pretty much had to control what was going on.
I see. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how did it feel?
The first few times, it was awful.
Awful.
Pretty much just because I knew what it was. It's sort of like eating a great dish and then finding out later it was dog.
Right.
You know?
Was she hooked up to machines while you did this?
No.
No. And so she would begin to do this to you. And would you would this end in a triumph, or would you have to do other things?
Oh, I would have to do other things.
I see.
It was just part of, I guess, what you would call foreplay.
I would guess you're not large. Is that true?
Average.
Mm-hmm. And when she hiccuped, would that be fulfilling?
She never hiccuped.
Never happened.
But the very first time we did it, she had come down.
I see.
So she vomited.
She did vomit?
Yeah, the very first time.
I see. So that has to be an extra bonus. What a highlight. Yeah, I made my wife vomit last night.
That's why I didn't like it the first few times.
So I can see why, because the vomit is a turnoff, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
And yet, even after vomiting, she went back and did it again.
Yeah, because what had happened was she went back to her surgeon and said...
What she had done?
Well, the surgeon really, didn't advocate doing this, but apparently we're not the first. So
you would check with the surgeon ahead of time?
No, after.
Afterwards?
Yeah, because, she was worried about that happening again.
I see. So she confessed to the surgeon what had happened, and he said, don't do it again.
Well, no, actually, he said he couldn't, condone that type of behavior, but he had safety techniques that he instructed her on so something like that or something worse wouldn't happen.
I see. So she began to do this, and did she receive pleasure doing this?
She actually did.
Really?
Yeah.
She found it erotic?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't find it all that good feeling?
Not at first, but when she started to experiment and do different things, then I have to say, if you sort of put your mind elsewhere and not concentrate on what exactly is going on, it did feel good.
Wow. And did you ever contract tonsillitis of the genitalia?
No.
I didn't. All right. Now, you say you did it for about 6 to 7 months, and then eventually she got too sick to continue doing this.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was a real fighter, and no pun intended, but... it spread to her lungs, and then after that, she passed away pretty quickly.
I see. And eventually, you couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, that was about it.
Amazing. So now you're a single guy?
Yes, I am.
Do you find yourself thinking about this a lot, and you would like to have it again?
Well, it wouldn't be high on my priority list. It wouldn't be like, it's like, hey, I'm looking for women with illness, but... It's just, I always listen to the show and I hear you talking about 3-input relationships.
This is 4-input.
It's a 4-input relationship.
Wow-wee. And do you ever go to cancer wards looking for women?
No.
And you say you work in L.A., huh?
Yeah. I'm based in L.A. and...
What do you do?
I do two things. I set up sneak movie previews, and I also work as a stuntman in motion pictures.
Sneak movie previews. Have you seen Star Wars yet?
Yes, I have.
How is it?
Fantastic.
Really? Mm-hmm. Great movie.
There's a couple of goofy little things in it, sort of like Jedi.
Right.
But overall, it's pretty fantastic.
Oh, wow. Can't believe I'm getting my movie reviews from a guy who had a relationship with a tray call. That's unbelievable. Well, let's see. There are people who do want to talk to you.
Okay.
Obviously, you're a fascinating guest. Are there any tray calls in Star Wars?
No tray calls in Star Wars.
Hi, Rob. You're on the air.
Okay, Howard, this guy deserves an award. He has single-handedly brought this show to its lowest point ever. It has to be the most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
It is a new low, isn't it? It is a new low.
But
don't, I admire this guy's courage to talk about it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, apparently he's not the only one doing it.
Yeah, evidently the surgeon wasn't that freaked out. He had rules about how you're supposed to do this.
Yeah, apparently we weren't the first.
Right. Well, you never know. I personally would think that it would be very dangerous and could infect the trach hole.
Well, he said it was a stoma, so that would be a healed
trach hole.
It's not an open wound. It's a healed
area. I see. So you have that advantage, Robin. You have a medical background.
Howard, did he say that belching was like an orgasm for her?
I tried that line with hiccups. Could she talk while you did this?
No.
No. Well, there's an advantage.
Your turn.
Let me ask you something, because you are an adventurous guy. Would you consider yourself adventurous?
Oh, yes. Now I would.
Would you consider a woman with a removable glass eye?
Well, what do you mean, dating or?
Marriage. Or sex. I mean, relationship.
Probably not.
I see.
That's sick, Howard.
That would be sick. All right. Well, there you go.
I guess you loved your wife very much.
Yeah, and like I said, the reason I wanted to come on and talk about it was, she was a big cancer advocate, and she wanted to let people know that even after something tragic, like loss of limbs, cancer or something, that, you can still maintain some kind of sex life, even if it's more adventurous than others.
Well, she's a woman with a strange passion.
Yeah.
Hey, Howard.
Yeah.
If he ever leaves his wife, what's he going to do when he's single? Is he going to hang around like the deformed ward of the hospitals?
We
already covered that territory.
Sir, you're listening in delay. Pat, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, Howard. Pat. I just want to say, this guy, I've had a trach before, and this guy must be hung like a 3-year-old.
Are you saying that trachs are very small?
Unless she was, a 400-pound woman.
What about that?
Was huge.
Well, let me just say one thing. I mean, the whole...
All right, I understand. So, in other words, it wasn't... okay, it wasn't a... okay, whatever. I don't know what to say.
There wasn't a deep impact.
Right, there wasn't deep impact. Okay.
I don't want to think about it.
You don't. I don't even know what to think of this. I mean, on one hand, the guy's admirable. He loved his wife. Would do what she wanted, even though he was kind of repulsed.
Yeah, I can see all of that, but do we have to talk about it?
Well, then you would be in Tom's camp. You would not talk about anything. Tom would have 4 hours of dead air and just commercials.
No, it's just, I mean...
No air conditioning.
Jenks, you're on the air.
Hey, Howard, how are you doing?
Hey, bro.
Yeah, actually, I have a question for this guy. I mean, aside from the fact that everybody there is married and you know what it's like to be married, aside from the fact of doing this, why would you do it to a woman that you love, especially one that's dying?
Well, because she asked.
I don't believe this guy for a minute. I'm expecting Horsetooth Jackass to come.
No, this guy's on the level. You're on the level, sir.
Yes.
Why would you do this to a woman that you love?
Well, it's the other way around if you want to think of it. It's, she was always much more sexually adventurous than I was.
There's nothing even fetish-wise good about this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've seen things on the internet that would make this tame.
I got to agree with that.
I don't believe...
Jenks, what do you know? You haven't had sex with a woman in years.
Yeah, how are we talking to him?
Jenks trying to act like he wouldn't have a trach.
But I wouldn't trade that for doing that.
Yes, you would.
No.
I know you. You would do anything.
Not that. That's disgusting.
All right. Thank you, Captain Jenks. Captain Jenks has his own point of view on what's disgusting, what isn't. I think I'd have a hard time with it myself.
Oh, like I said, it wasn't easy. It took a while for me to come around to that.
I think you'd have a hard time even being in the room with somebody who had their voice box removed.
That's what I'm saying. Although I think Jenks is exaggerating his disgust. I think he'd do roadkill. You know what I mean? Well, there it is, Robin. Listen, thanks for being so honest.
Oh, thank you.
How did you find this guy?
We have our ways. Let's put it that way. He's on the level.
But
he knows someone on the show.
I just don't think that, people are usually advertising that they do.
No, he was not advertising, trust me.
I can't wait till the Cancer Society puts out the brochure on this.
Well, sir, I'll tell you one thing. I admire you. I say, if you love your wife, and this is what she wanted, and it was her dying request, I say it's okay.
Well, I appreciate that, Hal.
Well, nobody's commenting on whether it's okay or not.
I'll tell you the truth. It's disgusting. I don't know that I could do it. And I'm as horny as they are in this world. I pleasure myself 4 or 5 times a day. So I'm saying, right on to you. You're a better man than I am.
Well, thank you, Ron. Before this, right?
Oh, I would have drawn a line, yes.
Yeah, me too. Like way before.
I'm telling you, his line would have been at her hospital room door.
Yeah, I don't even think I'd go visit at a cancer ward. I'm here with the kids. I can't visit you. But I'll tell you something. I've heard strange requests. I know some of the Make-A-Wish people. And this is unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there he is. It's a pseudonym, isn't it?
I should hope.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he wanted to plug anything.
Oh.
Wife. There's a man who had a relationship, Robin, with a trach.